Welcome to CS13, las cosas que mis amigos dicen, or the things that my friends say. If you're not familiar with this reading series or this space, well, welcome, and it's really cool to see you here. I think most of you, many of you have been here before, so. But anyway, yeah, I've been doing this reading series here for, I guess, the last 6 months, and I met Manuel a while ago and was really inspired by a reading series he was already doing called Las Cosas. He was doing it with Matthew McBride, who's actually here tonight, and I was really inspired by this bilingual reading kind of format. Probably one of the most inspiring kind of poetry events I've ever seen in my life. So I approached him about doing something here, and it worked out. So anyway, yeah, tonight we're going to have the top poet in the book that you have. If everyone gets one of these books, does everyone have a book? Because this might help to follow along. But Maria Clemencia Sanchez, I don't think is coming tonight. Either way, we're going to kind of proceed to the next reader. But anyway, thank you for coming tonight. This is going to be really cool. This might be the first of many of this type of series, and me and Manuel might do some more work together and try to do more things like this. If you're wondering, we have this kind of kitchen back here, and CS13 is engaging in a month-long installation / kind of performance series or lecture series thing that's going to last all of June, and it's going to be centered around this kitchen. So this is actually going to be a working kitchen, and that's what's going on here. I think it kind of framed the space nicely, and I think in some ways it makes sense to be here tonight. And just a place where people kind of come together and learn things and do things and talk and eat and whatever. Anyway, yeah, so that's what the kitchen's doing. And just in case you're wondering, tonight all the poems that are being read are in this book, so we can kind of follow along, and the format will be Latin American poet will read his or her poem, and then American reader will read the poem in English. But I'm going to introduce Manuel Iris up, and he's going to talk a little bit more about this.
Well, hello. Thanks for coming on this rainy, very rainy day. For me, the fact that people when it's raining so much, you have to love freaking poetry to come. So this is full of people that loves poetry. So actually rain was good, because we don't have, the other people. We only have the people we want and we need here. So I am going to introduce the 4 Latin American poets that are on this book. Maria Clemencia Sanchez is Colombian. She's not able to come here because she's got a doctor appointment. She is a well-recognized poet in Colombia. She has been published in Colombia, Mexico, Spain, and other places. Following with the female part of the book, we are 2 and 2. So people in gender studies and all that stuff, we're cool. Paola is also a published poet. Her first book came out 2 years ago, in 2009. It's called Hotel. And we're not having parts of that book, but we're having parts of her new book that is going to be released in I hope, a little time in translation. Milton Medellin is Mexican, and he's a great poet. He's also a philosopher. He studies philosophy, and you're going to see that stuff in his poetry. And his first book was awarded with a state award in the state of Tlaxcala in Mexico, No Terminar el Desvelo. And he's also here with us. My name is Manuel Iris, and I'm Mexican, if you have any guess. I published my first book of poetry in 2003. The second one was published in 2009, and I'm going to be here reading beautiful translations that were made by a friend called Tyson Vivens. But I have to thank the person that started pretty much everything. This is a snowball that started with Matt McBride. Matt McBride is, along with Robbie Wright, one of the coolest persons I ever met. These people loves poetry. And for me, a person that loves poetry, it's a soulmate and a brother or sister. We are all together because of love. I think, and you're gonna see in my corny statement there, that I think that poetry is an extension of love. We are sharing one single language, and that language is not Spanish nor English. That language is the language of poetry. We hope to have more readings like this involving other human language that are part of this transhuman language that is poetry. So let's start with las cosas que mis amigos dicen, and I think the first one to read today is going to be, which of the poets? Milton Medellin.
Well, thank you for coming, and thanks to Robbie and Pat. I'm going to read in a kind of opposite ways of the opposite order of the poems, from the last one to the first one. So the first one is Praise of Failure, Elogio del Fracaso. Y empiezo. Enfermedad, cuánto trabajo y sangre, abandono, amor desperdiciado, dolor, azar, nostalgia. He aquí que los débiles de espíritu también han trabajado por la vida. Los despreciados por falta de pasión también sienten angustia por el verbo. No hay fortaleza ni verdad para el que sufre. Lleno de niebla el pensamiento y oscuro el corazón, ansiedad en el alma, tristeza, soledad, y sin embargo la luz se compadezca. No se ha escrito el poema para aquellos que mueren por tu falta. ¿Acaso no hay metáfora para nuestra derrota?
Quickly, I just wanted to kind of introduce Simone Sotelo. He's going to be reading from Milton tonight. Simone's been involved as an attendant to the series and a good friend of mine, a sort of new friend of mine. And I wanted to do this before, but I'm really honored that he's reading tonight for Milton. And yeah, so he's a student of UC's audiovisual program and graduated recently. And, he's been supporting this series and this gallery since I've been part of it. So thanks.
Praise of failure. Disease. How much work and blood. Neglect, wasted love, pain, accidents of chance, nostalgia. Behold the faint of heart. They have also worked for life, those despised for lack of passion. They also feel anguish over the word. There's no strength nor truth for he that suffers, only foggy thinking and a dark heart. Anxiety in the soul, sadness, loneliness, yet the light pities. Poems are not written for those who die by your lack. There is no metaphor for our defeat.
El próximo es human vocation, vocación humana. Porque el éxtasis quema y el mundo es miserable, porque el dolor jamás nos abandona y la noche que antecede a los días vuelve a ser noche al fin, porque toda belleza tarde o temprano es falsa, porque una niña asesinada a balazos es una verdad de la historia, porque el tiempo perdió los cabales y envenena los rastros de esperanza, porque aquella locura que creíste perdida ha vuelto a encontrarte. El deseo de maldad escondido agita su bandera. Por eternos violadores del destino, incestuosos errantes, es que existes, poesía.